Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview ahead of our Carabao Cup 4th round fixture against West Ham United at Goodison Park tomorrow. Everton facing West Ham of course in the next round of the Carabao Cup after beating Fleetwood Town last week. Really good game, good performance, good result as well. Obviously, you know, it wasn't simple, it was hard, it was a battle, but we got through in the end and we play West Ham United at Goodison Park tomorrow, and which is for me our toughest game yet, certainly in the Carabao Cup, arguably even in the Premier League as well. Now I know obviously West Ham haven't been on great form so far this season and we've played the sides like, you know, Palace and Spurs, who of course are probably tougher on paper, but West Ham United obviously coming off the back of a massive 4-0 win against Wolves last week. Really big win, and a win that probably, although we may think it come at the wrong time for Everton, it probably come at the right time, because if there was any, and don't get me wrong, I don't think Carlo Ancelotti would have ever overlooked West Ham United, because they're a Premier League side, they're a side that, you know, Carlo Ancelotti understands could turn up and perform in a brilliant way and end up, you know, end up giving us quite a tough game. So I don't think Carlo Ancelotti was overlooking this fixture in any way, shape or form anyway, but if there was some form of overlook because of how poor West Ham have been this season, and that result against Wolves last week certainly would have, you know, woken everybody up and thought, hang on, we actually need to take this game seriously. These are the side that could, you know, come and hurt us if we're not careful. And for me, like I said, it's our toughest game, it's our toughest fixture so far, certainly in the Carabao Cup, but it's a game that we should be going out there and we should be winning, and we need to be going out there and we need to be winning, because at the end of the day, look, you know, we've spoke multiple times about the Carabao Cup and any cup competition really with Everton Football Club, and how it's absolutely imperative that we go as far as possible, and realistically it's imperative that we go to win these competitions. We're not a football club that can just say, right, okay, well, we'll just sacrifice the Carabao Cup this year because, you know, we don't really need to win it, or we'll just sacrifice the FA Cup this year because, you know, it's not important. Every single domestic cup competition for Everton Football Club is important every single year. We haven't won a major trophy for over 20 odd years. We cannot be treating any cup competition with the, oh, well, we don't really need to focus on that, we can just brush that aside. Yes, the Premier League form has been absolutely fantastic, of course, 3 wins out of 3. Really good win against Crystal Palace on Saturday. We spoke about that in great detail yesterday, and we've got a massive game coming up against Brighton, a Brighton side that have done well this season. They've done decent, you know, they should have probably beaten Manchester United. They've only got 1 win out of 3, but they were very unlucky to not get at least a point against Manchester United last week. So again, that's going to be a tough game, but another winnable game. And then, of course, we go into the Merseyside derby the following week. So we've got another 3 really tough fixtures coming up. And West Ham United are going to be a side that will come to Goodison Park tomorrow wanting to win, because this will be a fantastic opportunity for them to get to, you know, the quarterfinals of a cup competition, and then you're only 2 games away from playing in the final at Wembley. And of course, West Ham United aren't in the greatest run of form so far in the Premier League, coming off the back of a big win, to be fair, against Wolves, and they'll be hoping that that kickstarts their season. But I think David Moyes' side will be coming to Everton with the hopes that you know, they can at least have a decent cut run this season, and if they do struggle in the league and if they don't manage to find their feet quite as they would have liked, then at least they can have a decent cut run. So it's going to be tough for Everton. It is going to be really tough for Everton, but we need to be getting through these games. You know, ultimately at the end of the day, very rarely would we see a Carabao Cup you know, run of fixtures where you're playing teams from League 1 and League 2 up until the semi-finals and up until the final. You know, we were always going to get a Premier League side. We were always going to get a side that were going to come to Goodison Park and, you know, ultimately go out to win and you know, cause us a much more threat than anything that we've faced so far in the competition. Of course, we had it with Leicester last season where they come to Goodison Park just before Christmas in the same competition. I think that was the quarter-final, and they beat us on penalties. If we win this game against West Ham, then we'll go into the quarter-final and hopefully we'll get a little bit of an easier draw. And then for me, semi-final of a cup competition, I'd take pretty much any team at Goodison Park, because I think we could beat any team at Goodison Park. But look, it's going to be tough. You know, it is going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy fixture for Everton. I think this could be the Carabao Cup fixture that we see Carlo Ancelotti implementing some of the first team players into, and by first team players, I mean obviously your Abdoulaye Doucouré, your Allen, your Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, potentially James Rodriguez. We'll talk through my predicted starting 11 in a little bit, but of course, you know, we've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison both start the game against Fleetwood Town last week, played absolutely fantastically, certainly Richarlison in the first half getting a couple of goals, and then obviously, you know, they were allowed to sort of settle down a little bit in the second half and both come off for rest. But this is the game where I think we'll see more of those players that we're seeing week in, week out in the Premier League involved, purely because we're up against Premier League opposition. But that doesn't mean that your likes of Bernard, your Gylfi Sigurdssons, your Anthony Gordons, your Niels Nkunkus shouldn't be able to turn up and, perform tomorrow night. This is a big chance for the likes of Bernard, a big chance for the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson, a big chance for the likes of Niels Nkunku, because these players haven't played or haven't started at least in a Premier League game. Obviously, Gylfi Sigurdsson's come off the bench and featured in all of the games we've played so far in the Premier League, but Bernard certainly hasn't had an opportunity in the Premier League this season. Anthony Gordon hasn't had an opportunity in the Premier League. Niels Nkunku hasn't had an opportunity in the Premier League. Alex Iwobi hasn't had much of an opportunity in the Premier League, and that's because we've brought in other players that suit the system, more, and that obviously ultimately are better players and do the job. But it doesn't mean that those type of players that were playing Premier League football consistently last season shouldn't be thinking, right, okay, I need to be knocking on the door here, I need to be taking this opportunity. Because if Anthony Gordon, let's say, for example, starts tomorrow and absolutely has a field day and runs rings around West Ham, then Carlo Ancelotti isn't just looking at that going, right, okay, that's Anthony Gordon, good young player with a fantastic attitude, running rings around League 2 players, running rings around League 1 players. That's Carlo Ancelotti looking at it going, that's Anthony Gordon running rings around Premier League sides. That is telling Carlo Ancelotti that if he ever needs to give James Rodriguez a rest, if he ever needs to bring off, Richarlison or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, then he can have the trust and faith in Anthony Gordon that he can go out in a Premier League game and perform like that. So it's a big opportunity for every player that'll feature in tomorrow's game. I do think we'll see a much stronger side than either of the sides that we've seen in the Carabao Cup so far. It was quite a strong side last Wednesday, to be fair, against Fleetwood Town, so I'm expecting very similar. I'm expecting Dominic Calvert-Lewin to start, I'm expecting Richarlison to start, I'm expecting both of those players to be in the starting 11, because again, we're coming up against the Premier League side. It is at Goodison Park, and for me, we should be winning this game. I'm not going to sit here and say, again, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not expecting us to win. We should be winning this game. West Ham, regardless of the result against Wolves, which is a fantastic result and a fantastic performance on their behalf, they haven't had a great start to the season whatsoever, and maybe that result can give them the confidence to push on and to really sort of kickstart their season. But we should still be going out there, and we should have more than enough quality to beat West Ham. We should have more than enough quality to go out there, get the job done, and go into the next round, and ultimately go into Saturday. And we should have enough quality in the likes of Bernard, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex Iwobi, Anthony Gordon. We should have enough quality in those players that aren't playing in the Premier League to go out there and win tomorrow. But I do think that Carlo Ancelotti will play some of the first teamers as well, just to sort of solidify that, because it's a massive game, and Carlo Ancelotti understands the importance of the Carabao Cup to Everton Football Club. And look, we're not in an ideal situation this season, are we? This season we're in a situation where we've had very little pre-season. Of course, we've done fantastically, 5 games out of 5, won all 5 of them, joint top of the league, we're top of iTunes as well. We'll go on and talk a little bit about that, give a little bit of an update on that. But ultimately, look, in terms of the structure of the season so far, it hasn't been ideal. We're playing a Premier League game on a Saturday, we're playing a Carabao Cup game on a Wednesday, and we're playing a Premier League game on a Saturday, and I think that is the way that it will continue until at least the semi-final, or potentially even final. The quarter-finals, of course, would be the game after this one if we manage to, to beat West Ham tomorrow. So it's been tough. It's been tough playing 3 times a week effectively, and obviously we've seen a lot of changes so far for Everton Football Club. We've seen a lot of different players feature in the games, and again, I expect to see a lot of changes tomorrow. Do I expect to see James Rodriguez start? No, but I think he'll be available. I think he'll be on the bench, similarly with Allen. But we'll go through my predicted starting 11 anyway in a second, and we'll go through who I believe will start and who I believe will feature tomorrow. But like I said, for me, it's massively important. We need to go out there and we need to win. If you said to Evertonians at the end of the season, you finish, I don't know, let's say for example 6th, and you don't win a cup competition, or you finish 8th and you win a cup competition, being at the Carabao Cup, I think we'd take the latter, because ultimately we're a club that's in desperate need of winning a cup competition. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're not the type of club that can just say, oh, well, we'll just put that one on the back burner, or we won't worry about that one tomorrow, or we won't worry about that one this season because, we can just go again next season. We haven't won a major honour in 25 years. We need to be going out there and we need to be taking every single Carabao Cup and FA Cup game as seriously as we can. It don't matter who we're playing, whether we're playing a League 1 opposition, a League 2 opposition, a Premier League opposition, we need to be going out there and taking this game seriously. If you're not enjoying, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you are new to the channel as well, don't forget to subscribe. Share the live stream. Let's try and get as many people out as possible. Let's get into the live comments then before we go into my predicted starting 11. Eugene says Everton favourites to land to Debo. I think out of all of the centre-halves we've been linked with, I think Jean-Claire Todibo is probably the most likely to come. Hernandez says, hello Cam, how are you? I'm not too bad, mate. I hope you're doing well yourself. Adamski says, let's go Blues, spot on. Dominic Calvert-Lewin says, puts a thumbs up. Alex says, Todibo is shite, not a fan. Whammy says, 260 grand, 260 can nails in Konku. Whammy says, hi everyone, Cam lad, what's happening, mate? Achendale says, come on you Blues. Ananda says, think we have to play most of our Premier League starting lineup. Well, I'm gonna go through my predicted starting 11 in a minute, and it has got a lot of players that have featured in the Premier League consistently so far this season. William says, hey Hernandez, Adamski's not too bad, good to hear. Hernandez says, do we know who we play in the next round? We don't know yet. Usually you know before the fixture, but for this game, I don't know whether it's because it's the quarterfinals after tomorrow's game, if we do get through. And I actually have a feeling, don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I actually have a feeling that after this game tomorrow, if we do manage to beat West Ham, we don't play the following Wednesday. I think it's staggered a little bit then, but again, I'm not 100% on that one. But we don't know who we play yet. Whammy says, don't know, Brighton are not going to be easy. Tough decisions for these two games. Luckily, West Ham have the same problem. Don't see Delph and Sigurdsson versus Rice and Souček. Yeah, again, for me, look, Brighton are going to be a tough game. We've got, like I said, for me, we've got another tough 3 games coming up. We've got West Ham in the cup, we've got Brighton in the league, and then we've got Liverpool in the league. 3 really, really tough fixtures for Everton. Wimmy says, I'm good, thanks. Philip says, managed to be missing, cheating refs again. Yeah, they are. We know they're cheats. Wimmy says, can't wait for the window to be over. It's having me mental. Just sign a centre-back, a right-back and a right winger. We are allegedly still trying to get... Strawberry. Everton FL says we're going to lose tomorrow, unfortunately. I don't think we'll lose. Let's have some faith. Carl says hopefully we won't wait until the last day to sign someone, and Joey says West Ham will be right up for this. Now, they will be right up for it. Like I said before, West Ham obviously coming off the back of a fantastic win against Wolves in the Premier League last week, and again, this is a fantastic opportunity for West Ham to, very similar to Everton, go far in a competition that they haven't done well in recent years. It's a good opportunity for West Ham to pick up a domestic trophy in which they haven't done for a long time. So again, look, we'll go through my predicted starting 11s for this one. Then let me know your thoughts on this as we go through it. If you're not enjoying, like I said, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to share the live stream as well. It does only take a second if you're new. Don't forget to subscribe. So in goal, I've gone for Jordan Pickford. Obviously didn't have the greatest game against Fleetwood last week. Made a couple of mistakes and probably at fault for both goals. Got a little bit of stick on Saturday against Crystal Palace. Look, for me, could he have done better with their goal? Probably. Am I going to sit here and rip him to bits? No, because I don't think he was the main culprit. I think he starts tomorrow. Obviously, João Virginia signed a new contract a couple of weeks ago and then was nowhere to be seen for the Fleetwood game, so I'm not too sure what's happening there. But if Carlo Ancelotti's going to go for sort of a full-strength team, or as close to full strength as you could get away with, then Jordan Pickford starts in this game tomorrow. And let's be honest, we're playing a Premier League opposition, and would we see João Virginia in the Premier League? Would we see Jonas Larsson in the Premier League? No. So Jordan Pickford's going to start. I've gone for the back four of Niles Nkounkou at left back. Really impressive once again against Fleetwood Town last week. Fantastic performance against Salford the week before, and he just upped it again against Fleetwood. Now, I was sort of, when I was going through this predicted starting 11, I was thinking, how strong can we make this side, but with also making sure that we're putting in players that, have played in the Carabao Cup so far this season, have impressed in the Carabao Cup, and also not risking players just for risking sake. And I think Niles Nkounkou and Luca Dean are 2 players that have both massively impressed this season. Luca Dean obviously in the Premier League and in the Carabao Cup, to be fair, when he's been asked to play at centre-half, and Niles Nkounkou at left-back has been unbelievable. He has been an absolute breath of fresh air. £260,000 this lad cost us, and he looks unbelievable. This is a big chance for Niles Nkounkou at left-back, a big chance. The one worry that I have, and it's not a massive worry, but it is a slight worry that, is just sitting at the back of my mind, is that he hasn't quite been tested defensively yet. Niles Nkounkou, and West Ham, of course, are a Premier League side. They're a side that, have got some decent attacking players. Jared Bowen had a really good game against Wolves last time out. They've got some good attacking players when they're on their day. So my slight worry in the back of my mind is that, how is Niles Nkounkou going to put up with that pressure? How is Niles Nkounkou going to react to probably having to play in a more defensive role than what he is used to so far this season? However, again, I think it would be quite harsh to take him out, and it's another test for him, and it's a test for Carlo Ancelotti, again, very similar to the Anthony Gordon situation, which we'll talk about in a bit more detail in a moment. But it's a very, very similar situation as to that. Carlo Ancelotti will be able to look and go, right, okay, Niles Nkunku's massively impressed so far against League 1 and League 2 opposition, but, if Lucas Digne gets injured halfway through the season, can I trust this lad to be able to step in a Premier League game and perform to, an ability that I need him to perform, both going forward and defensively? And this will be a fantastic opportunity for Niles Nkunku to go out and prove that. So for me, starts again, brilliant performances so far, really, really, really direct. Every time he picks the ball up, he's got one thing on his mind, and that's getting forward, creating opportunities, putting it into the box, using his body, using his strength, using his energy. I think he's been brilliant. I've gone for a back two of Michael Keane and Yerry Mina. Now, obviously, Lucas Digne has been playing in the centre-back position in the Carabao Cup games, come on against Salford City because of the injury to Jared Branthwaite, and then started, and I believe completed the 90 minutes against Fleetwood Town, and he played really, really well. To be honest, it's not his natural position, and West Ham do have a lot of sort of tall players. They've got a couple of midfielders who are quite tall, Declan Rice being one of them, Souček being another, who, tend to get in and around the box, certainly Souček, and tend to jump up for pretty much every ball that flies in, and I just don't know if Lucas Digne's tall enough to be able to deal with that pressure. Done fantastically well against Fleetwood and Salford when he come in, and done fantastically well when he was asked to deal with pressure on the ball and with the ball coming towards him on the floor. But I just think if he was to start tomorrow, West Ham would target that aerial threat that they have in, obviously, and point out that Lucas Digne isn't the tallest centre-half, because he isn't a centre-half, he's a left-back. So I've gone with the natural two of Michael Keane and Yerry Mina, again, both in decent form so far this season. Michael Keane arguably could have done better for the goal on Saturday, and Yerry Mina could have done better for the goals against West Brom, but both in the whole and on good form this season. Again, two big tall centre halves, tower above pretty much everybody on the pitch, and will be able to deal with the pressure of Declan Rice, of Souček in the middle of the park as well. So again, for me, I've gone with Michael Keane and Yerry Mina, and also both natural centre halves as well. Lucas Digne isn't a natural centre half. Not saying that he wouldn't be able to do a job there, but I just think if we're going for a bit more of a stronger side, because we're playing a Premier League side, play your only fit two centre-halves. I understand it's a risk, because ultimately Yerry Mina and Michael Keane have got to play on Saturday against Brighton. They've then got to play next week against Liverpool, which is the big fixture, because ultimately, if we can keep the momentum going, if we can beat West Ham, beat Brighton, go into the derby, and have favour us to beat them as well. So I understand that there's a worry injury-wise, and so, in terms of obviously if Michael Keane and Yerry Mina both play tomorrow and pick up an injury, that wouldn't be ideal. But, I'd rather them go out there, put in a solid performance, keep themselves to themselves, do what they need to do, rather than maybe put a Lucas Digne in there who might get exposed. I've gone for Jonjoe Kenny at right back. Again, and similar to the Nkunku situation, I was humming and hawing as to whether to put Seamus Coleman at right back. Seamus Coleman's been fantastic so far. Obviously, played in all three Premier League games for Everton. Very close to putting man of the match performances in, to be perfectly honest with you, in all three games. If it wasn't for the quality of James Rodriguez, or the quality of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or Abdoulaye Doucouré, Seamus Coleman in another game on another week would have, got man of the match for all three games he's played, and he's been absolutely fantastic so far this season. Absolutely pocketed Wilfred Zaha on Saturday, didn't give him a moment to himself. And I was humming and hawing about the possibility of putting Seamus Coleman in there for tomorrow, but I just don't think Seamus Coleman will be able to play 90 minutes tomorrow and then 90 minutes on Saturday against Brighton. Now, of course, there's the option of starting Seamus Coleman and going out there and winning the game early on, and sort of killing the game off early on, and then taking him off to put Jonjoe Kenny on, just so you've got that defensive security. But again, similar to Nkunku, this is going to be a big chance for Jonjoe Kenny. I think Carlo Ancelotti is going to use this game for your Jonjoe Kennys, for your Niles Nkunkus, to go out there and prove that they can play against Premier League sides, and have your Lucas Dignes, your Seamus Colemans on the bench for that. If it does go drastically wrong and they prove they can't, bring those players on to shore it up a little bit. I still think that Jonjoe Kenny and Niles Nkunku, while we're on the topic, should be good enough to defensively to hold West Ham tomorrow, and to ensure that they don't give anything stupid away. And if they're not, then neither player really at the moment are good enough to play in the Premier League, and that's more of a worry for Jonjoe Kenny, because the talk at the moment is that he will be the natural replacement for Seamus Coleman, or he will be the player that plays alongside Seamus Coleman. Not so much Niles Nkunku, because obviously he's only just come into the football club. He's only played 2 games for the club professionally, and he's still got a long way to go. But more for Jonjoe Kenny. But again, like I said, I just think that I think that Carlo Ancelotti will go with the 2 natural centre-halves and then the young fullbacks, giving them their opportunity. Going into the midfield, then I've gone for Abdoulaye Doucouré, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard. Now, I know a lot of people will maybe putting Allen in there. They may be putting Delph in there. They may be putting Davis in there. For me, I think Gylfi Sigurdsson starts this game tomorrow. Again, should be more than good enough to go out there and put in a good performance against the West Ham team. Should be more than good enough to control this game tomorrow. Done really well when he's come on in all of the Premier League games, and done quite well in the Carabao Cup games as well. Got himself a few goals, was being involved in a few goals as well. So I think Gylfi Sigurdsson's going to start this game. I think that's pretty much nailed on for me, unless Carlo Ancelotti just goes with the complete 11 that played against Crystal Palace. I've gone for Bernard next to him. Been really impressed with Bernard over the last couple of weeks or so in the Carabao Cup. I think he's adapted to this new sort of left centre midfield role really well. He's picking the ball up a lot more. He's being a lot more attacking. He's getting forward. He's being more creative. He's finding more pockets of space. He's not completely just sort of overshadowed on the wing, and I think again it's a big chance for Bernard. He usually plays well against West Ham, touch wood, but it's a big chance for Bernard to go out there and prove himself tomorrow and prove that he can be in and around this Premier League side, and he's good enough to be in and around this Premier League side. So for me, I've gone for Bernard next to him, and then Abdoulaye Doucouré in there, bit of stability, little bit of sort of, again, a player that's played in the Premier League this season, a player that's proven that he can play, at the highest level against the top sides in the Premier League. And again, I just think he'd be in there for that little bit of security, that little bit of, that guarantee of that physical presence who breaks up playing the midfield, who's good on the ball. Again, that first team, and if you like, and I don't like to call them first teamers because, less than 6 months ago, Gylfi Sigurdsson was a first teamer, Bernard was a first teamer, but you know what I mean? Those players that are playing in the Premier League week in, week out. So I've gone for Abdoulaye Doucouré in there again. I was humming and hawing between him and Allen, but I just think Doucouré probably suits this game a little bit more, and then having Allen on the bench to potentially come on, if need be. If you're not enjoying, by the way, please do hit that like button. It does mean a massive amount to me. If you could get to 30 likes while we're streaming, it would mean a great deal. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Currently 15 people off, 100 people watching, so if you are watching live, please do share the stream. Let's try and get as many people involved as possible. And then so that's Abdoulaye Doucouré, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard in the centre of midfield, and then I've gone for the front three of Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and again, I'm humming and hawing. I put Iwobi there, but I really want to see Anthony Gordon there, and the reason why I really want to see Anthony Gordon there is because I think this would be a fantastic opportunity for Anthony Gordon to go out and prove that he can't only tear it up against the lower league oppositions, but he can also tear it up against Premier League sides. He can also step in there against Premier League teams, that probably aren't in his greatest form, and turn around and absolutely run the show. That's what I want to see from Anthony Gordon, and I believe that Anthony Gordon's got the ability to do that, but I just think that Carlo Ancelotti will go with somebody a little bit more experienced in Alex Iwobi. Again, I think Anthony Gordon was very unlucky to not start the game against Fleetwood. Come off the bench, done fantastically well, of course, made an instant impact near enough and was brilliant. But for me, I just think that Carlo Ancelotti will go with Alex Iwobi and then have the option of bringing Anthony Gordon off the bench. Would I prefer that? No, I prefer Anthony Gordon to go out there, and I prefer all of this sort of, probably not rage, but all of this emotion and all of this passion that Anthony Gordon's are building up inside him because he desperately wants to start football games. All of that, knocking on Ancelotti's door and saying, I want to play, why aren't I playing? I'd like Carlo Ancelotti to go out there tomorrow and say, well, yeah, Anthony, you're starting this game now. Not only are you starting for Everton, you're starting at Goodison Park and you're starting against the Premier League team. So ultimately, at the end of the day, go out there and prove it. Wayme says, might want to delete that last thing, Cam. I'm not too sure what thing you're talking about. I haven't quite read through the live comments, so you'll have to remind me of what that one is. But anyway, yeah, like I said, for me, I just think Carlo Ancelotti will go with Alex Iwobi over Anthony Gordon for that bit more experience, and again to give Alex Iwobi his opportunity. But I'd love to see Anthony Gordon in there, and then of course Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front. Well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, Richarlison on the other wing. Both played against Fleetwood. Dominic Calvert-Lewin again done his job, didn't really get involved with the goals like he would have liked to, missed a one-on-one opportunity that I think he probably should have done better with. But he held the play up well. He made a nuisance of himself. He made himself annoying to the defenders, which is exactly what, we love Dominic Calvert-Lewin doing. And of course, Richarlison, 2 goals, fantastic goals as well. And I think he could be an absolute key in this game. So there you go. That's my predicted starting 11. Jordan Pickford in goal. John Joe Kenny, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane and Nelson Kunku at the back. Abdoulaye Doucouré, Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard through the middle. And then Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Alex Iwobi / Anthony Gordon up front, or as a front 3. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the live comments. We will get back into the live comments now. If you're not enjoying, like I said, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. Share the live stream as well. If you're watching a YouTube video, big thanks for watching. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. Adamski says, by next season, a lot of dead wood are out of contract, so I could cope with this team until next season, and then hopefully we will see more signings. I think we'll still see a couple more signings before the end of this transfer window, if I'm being honest with you. I think we'll see a couple more loans at least. Maybe says too hard to call. Don't know what team West Ham will put out. The Prem is far too important for them. Well, it is, but I also think winning a cup competition will be massively important for West Ham. Joey says, I hope it isn't to Debo, to be honest. Wimmy says, tough game, whatever way. Adamski says, Everton, FL, come on, and I have some faith in Carlo. You spot on, mate. Joey says, now Moise and Irvine want to play us to prove a selfish point nature of football. Philip says, just hope the deceased irons don't infect our lads. There was obviously a confirmation that a couple of diseases said couple of West Ham players and backroom staff, including David Moyes, had tested positive for coronavirus. I just want to say before we talk about it, obviously I wish a speedy recovery for everybody, anyone that's tested positive or suffering currently with coronavirus, and of course obviously the West Ham players and staff involved in that. I think if they're still in that self-isolation period, they won't be involved tomorrow, including David Moyes. But again, I just want to say a speedy recovery to obviously anybody that's tested positive, including those West Ham players and staff, because of course, it's been at the forefront recently and it's terrible news. Philip says yes, Carl says yes, Joey says yeah, but it still has tactics, he'll want to win. Newton says, what is your prediction for the game against West Ham? We'll go through it before I end the stream, mate. Women says he is asymptomatic. Joey says, in a short Carabao Cup as well. I hope we can win the whole thing. You're spot on. Harold says, Everton will win. David Moyes doesn't know his head from his toe, and his best players are Yarmolenko and Lanzini, always on the bench amongst others. Adamski says, I can live with losing out on the cup if it means having the legs for a run in the league, especially against the shite. Yeah, again, it's if buts and maybes, isn't it? It's like saying if we lose tomorrow and beat Liverpool 6-0 at Goodison, then you say, oh, I'd have taken that. But if we lose tomorrow and lose to Liverpool, then ultimately, it's not ideal. So, again, it's difficult to say. But for me, I just want us to go out there and take this competition as serious as possible, because we have to. We're not a club that is in a position to just say, you know what, don't worry about that. Philip says 3-1 tomorrow for us. Come on, you Blues. Is right, Philip. Joey says James has to be on the bench against the Prem team. I think he will be on the bench. I think he will be. In terms of the bench, I think if Anthony Gordon doesn't start, he'll be on there. I think Luca Dean will be on there. Again, if he doesn't start, I think James Rodriguez will be on there. I think Alan will be on there. I think Moise Kean will be on there. I think we'll see a lot of sort of players that can really, really come on and impact games being on there tomorrow. Adamski says, anyone got any predictions for the amount of pens tomorrow? I had this weird feeling walking to work today. Joey says I've got 11. I had this weird feeling walking to work today that this game would go to penalties tomorrow, and I just thought, no, please don't let it go to penalties, please, no. Liam says, alright, Cam, lad, what's happening, Liam? Hope you're well, mate. He says if you get either Tadebo Tomori or a young lad from Norwich, Gaffrey, when Holgate and Branthwaite are back fit, that would leave us with 5 centre-backs, so then surely one would have to go. If so, who? I don't think one would have to go. I think maybe Jared Branthwaite to go out on loan, give him a little bit more experience, and then you'd have Mason Holgate, Yerry Mina, Michael Keane, and whoever you'd signed, and then give Jared Branthwaite that experience at a top level Championship side or a Premier League side, as long as he's guaranteed game time. So I don't think we'd sell one, but if one was to leave the football club, I think it'd be Jared Branthwaite on loan. Wayman says I think 5 pens. James says if James is included, he has to start for me. Can't be hard coming off the bench, especially in a cup game. Yeah, I understand that. But also with James Rodriguez, obviously he has to be 100% fit for the game against Brighton. He has to start and he has to play near enough 90 minutes against Brighton, because ultimately, ultimately for me, it's important that James Rodriguez is a player that we keep as fit as possible, because he is our biggest creative outlet, and he is our most important creative outlet. So the last thing we want is him starting against West Ham, getting a stupid injury in the cup, and then being out for a couple of weeks. Not saying that he won't feature or shouldn't feature tomorrow, but I think probably off the bench would be more likely. And that would obviously also give the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson and Bernard another opportunity to prove themselves against Premier League opposition. Listen, it's all right us sitting here after a win against Fleetwood and after a win against Salford and saying, you know, Gylfi Sigurdsson was boss today, or Bernard was boss today. It's all right us saying that, but realistically, these players, you know, Gylfi Sigurdsson, 150 grand a week, Bernard 150 grand a week, they should be bossing it against your Salfords. They should be bossing it against Fleetwood. Not taking anything away from the performances, but this will be a big opportunity for those players to go out there and boss it against the Premier League opposition. And if they can't do that, then it's not looking great for their future. Lavit says, watched them last night, summed it up, they got a crucial goal to go above us, but we let a silly one in a Palace. Okay, great start, but there's no room for error. You're spot on, and there is room for improvement. If you're all enjoying, by the way, please do hit that like button. Goodison Sparks says, what do you think the plan is for Moise Kean? Seems he's getting less and less pitch start game time on the pitch. And Wayne says, don't start him, we've got Brighton after that. I assume you're talking about James Rodriguez there. I don't think that Moise Kean will start tomorrow, and I think I'm edging towards that Moise Kean will leave Everton Football Club this summer. Again, I don't know anything that nobody else does. I don't want him to leave because I think he's a fantastic player with a lot of potential. I think he's got a lot of raw talent which could be useful for Everton. But I think Moise Kean's a player that demands game time. Moise Kean's a player that demands, that opportunity to prove himself, and at the moment it's difficult for Everton to give and difficult for Carlo Ancelotti to give that opportunity to Moise Kean, because you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing fantastically, you've got Richarlison playing fantastically, so it's tough for Moise Kean, but I'm edging towards him leaving the club. But again, I'm not sort of completely I don't want that to happen. Philip says, you can guarantee we get the shower away. Dave says, come on you Blues. Julian says, hi from Colombia. Hi mate. Joey says, break before the Liverpool game. Need as many wins as possible. Yeah, I think there's a week break. Philip says, greetings Julian. William says his name is Zeki Seelig. Jason says, League Cup draw is on Thursday. Actually, the quarters aren't until December. There you go. So am I right in saying that if we beat West Ham tomorrow, we won't play until December then? So a big break, which is, obviously good for Everton Football Club at the moment. Gord says, I see a balance of rotation and some strong players in the lineup tomorrow. Me too, mate, me too. Adamski says, Nkunku left back, Mina, Keane centre back, and Kenny right back for me. Yes, I agree. That's the one I've gone for. Lavit says, we need to beat Brighton heavily and convincingly to put pressure on other teams. Just spot on. Joey says, we won't beat Brighton too easily. I don't think we will, but we need to. And we can. But we have to go out there and show our authority. James says, why don't defenders stand side on corners? I don't know. Kenneth says, Vamos Everton. Vamos Toffees. We've got this. Vamos indeed. Lavit says, there's only 5 or 6 teams that are better than us. We need to be ruthless up front and, of course, develop a watertight defence. Spots on. Jason says, quarters of the 22nd and the 23rd of December. That's scary, especially so close to Christmas fixtures. So we'd play the 23rd of December and then the 26th of December. At least it gives us a couple of months off, but it just means that when we come back, we're playing again 15 times in the space of a week. Wayne says, for me, Kenny, Mina, Keane, Nkunku, Alan, Gomez, Bernard, James, Gordon, Richie and Moise. Fair point, rest and Dom there. Big Nozza says, Pickford, Nkunku, Mina, Keane, Kenny, Delph, Decore, Richie, Bernard, Awobi and DCL should be well good enough to beat the Hammers 3-1. I agree. Adamski says, I'm happy with that. Wayne and Live, it says, does anyone know where the derby is on? Not seeing anything yet. It's not. I don't think it's been officially confirmed yet, but it will probably be on Sky, mate, because Sky pretty much have every derby. But yeah, listen, obviously, massive game for Everton Football Club tomorrow. We need to go out there and we need to win, and we should have a good enough side to go out there and win, regardless of whether we play 9 of the starting 11 that played against Crystal Palace, or if we play 9 of the starting 11 that played against Fleetwood. We should still be good enough to go out and win. The likes of Bernard, Gylfi Sigurdsson, Alex Iwobi, who weren't playing, who haven't played consistent Premier League football this season because of the new signings coming in, but were still playing consistent football towards the back end of last season. Those players should be good enough to step it up and to beat West Ham comfortably tomorrow. I'm not saying it'll be an easy game, it won't be. They'll come out with their full strength side and they will want to win because they'll want to go as far in this competition as possible. However, we need to go out there and stamp our authority a little bit and win this game comfortably for me. It's going to be a difficult one. They've got some good attacking plays. We need to be tight defensively. We can't be giving stupid goals away like we did against Fleetwood, and we need to be taking our opportunities, and that's why I think the likes of Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will start this game. Wayne says, so would I got an extra player on? Probably not James. Hammers. Philip says, wish you'd do a watch-along, Cam, you'd smash it. It's a little bit difficult for me to do watch-alongs just because I've got a lot of stuff going on while the match is going on. I'd like to try at some point in the future, but it wouldn't be at the moment. Unfortunately, Adamski says Hammers comes off the bench at 65, I think. Thought that was me house blowing up then, just heard a mad noise outside. Women says he is too emotional. Philip says he may swear lol. I would swear a lot. Jason says having to pay £10 to watch is a turn off. Yeah, it's not great. I really don't know. What they were thinking in charging people £10 to watch an all Premier League Carabao Cup fixture, but it's a money-making scheme at the end of the day, isn't it? Williams is crying into his obnobs when we smash West Ham. Adam says, bold to leave out Alan, but got to say I love watching Tagore attack back and absolutely crunch them up. Well, the thing is with Alan is again, for me, it was either between Alan and Abdoulaye Doucouré, and I just think that Abdoulaye Doucouré may suit this game a little bit more, and obviously Alan will be starting on Saturday against Brighton, no doubt. So Philip says Alan looks shattered against Palace. He needs a break. He does. And he says, does he play internationally? If he doesn't, it may be take a risk and let him rest in the break. But I'm not a physio though. Who are we talking about there? Alan. He probably will be playing internationally, to be honest. Big Nod says, come on, Jason, £10 to watch the boys. Whammy says, minus my silly face. Philip says, Anthony don't know. Williams says, might want to delete that. I'm not, again, I think Jess has dealt with that. Big up to Jess in the comments for dealing with that. And she just feels sorry for Gordon. He deserves to start in the cup at least. I agree. Jason says, no, I will pay. Sky shouldn't be showing Tottenham versus Chelsea, especially after Jose saying the cup is his least priority. Again, fair enough. Hernandez says, does Jess love the Blues? She does. She loves the Blues. She puts up with me talking about them 24/7, so she does. Philip says, hope my virus comment wasn't taken wrong, mate. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I get where you're coming from. It wasn't. But of course, any player that, it's a difficult one because I would assume that most West Ham players have come in contact with those that have tested positive. So I don't really know how it stands, but again, I think it's about a week or so now, hasn't it? So the self-isolation period probably is coming towards an end. Jess says, hi. Wimmy says, oh, hey Jess, there you go. Hernandez, ask away. Wimmy says, the only one with all the emoji face. Goodison Spark, what's happening, mate? Hope you're well. He says, great content as always, Cam, thank you very much. Raul says, will Hammers play tomorrow? We don't know. Hopefully he'll feature, especially if need be, but ultimately I'm not 100% so far. Adam, she says he won't get much game time. He needs to be fit for the league. You're spot on. Jess is admin, Philip. Faye says, hi Cam, hi Faye. Philip says, cool. Adam says, Carlos seems to be a big fan of him. I wonder what's changed. Again, I think it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for Moise Kean because Goodson Sparks is rumoured that if Kean leaves, they're looking at from Napoli. Yeah, it's unfortunate for Kean because of how well Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison are playing at the moment. But if Moise Kean wants a future at Everton Football Club, he has to get his head down and he has to work hard. And ultimately, if he does, I think he'll have a future at the football club. If he doesn't, I don't think he will. It's that simple for me. Remy says then maybe no one else will watch football games for not a tenner, which I would never promote because it's very naughty. Millik says, Goodson Park says Millik. Raul says, thanks Adamski, we need Hammers fit for the Merseyside derby. We certainly do, mate. Joey says, Moise Kean didn't look upset in training the other day. I think he's happy. I just think he's a bit frustrated. And to be honest, I can't blame him. I can't blame Ancelotti for not starting him, but I can't blame Moise Kean for being frustrated. Joey says, don't know why people say all of these things on chat. I'm not too sure, mate. Adamski says, I don't know why he wanted to take the pen. If he's looking at training, maybe we're just reading way too far into it. Probably, mate, probably. James Hammers Hayward says he's nowhere near Calvert-Lewin. He's not at the moment. Williams says his agent wants him to leave. More transferings because transferings means more money for said agent. You're spot on, mate. You're spot on. I didn't, Alex. Joey says I said Moise Kean didn't look upset in saying the other day. Not Moise Kean is better than Calvert-Lewin. Ocean Drive says you rock. Thank you very much, mate. Christine says, are we going to qualify for Europa? I hope so, mate. I certainly do hope so. Joey says, look, people create competition unnecessarily. Kristen says Pickford needs to be replaced. Well, we'll see how he plays tomorrow. Carlos says, Vamos Blues. Anyone know if Hammers will join Colombia for the FIFA dates World Cup qualifiers? National side, probably. I would assume so. I think he's still the captain, isn't he, of the Colombian national side. I can't confirm that. I don't know, but I would assume so, Carlos. I would assume so. The True Blue says, hi mate, how you doing? Jess says, sorry Hernandez, didn't see your comment, love is a bit extreme, put up with it more so. Yeah, you do, to be fair. Put up with it well, to be fair. Ral says, Gordon deserves to play tomorrow, I agree. The True Blue says, Pickford needs to be replaced. Arbot says, hey lads, I'm a Colombian, becoming a Toffee fan from Miami, USA. Hello to all in the chat today. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Thank you very much. Really need to get out to Miami, love it over in America. William says, trust how we get you, Jess, trust me, I know. And Martin says, DCL Golden Boot. Why not, mate, why not? It's good enough, isn't he? He's good enough if he keeps this form up. You know, Carlo Ancelotti said in his post-game or pre-game press conference last week before the game against Palace, he just needs to keep up that consistency. And he also said that he expects him to get at least 20 goals this season, and Richarlison to get at least 20 goals as well. Anyway, that'll do it for today's live stream then. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Really do appreciate all of your support. If you have enjoyed the live stream, please do hit that like button. Again, the support has been absolutely unbelievable today. Truly does warm me heart. I still wake up every morning and think it's mad that, you know, 80 odd people sit down and watch me talk about Everton live, and then hundreds more watch me after it. It means such a massive amount to me. So big thanks to everybody. Massive thanks to everybody in the live comments for getting involved and for sharing your thoughts. Big game for Everton tomorrow. Really important game for me. We have to go out there and we have to win. We have to progress in the cup, and then ultimately, you know, we progress tomorrow. We beat West Ham, and then we don't play a Carabao Cup game then, I think, until December. So we've got a little bit more rest, and we can focus on the Premier League games. We can focus on Brighton. We can focus on Liverpool. We can focus on keeping up this momentum. But again, in regards to momentum, we have to keep up the performances and we have to keep up the results, and that continues tomorrow for me. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. It means a massive amount to me. Big up everybody watching as a YouTube video as well, and watching in the YouTube comments. If you do want to leave a comment in the comment section, please do so, and I'll get back to as many of them as possible. Inanda says, hello Art, I'm a Toffee in Virginia, same time zone. Thank you very much. Two Blue says, do you like the new signings? I love them, mate. And would you test Virginia against Premier League opposition? I probably would, but I don't think he will. I just don't think he will. Christian says, I hope Colombia gives James a rest, let him focus on the Premier League and get settled in. No need to overwork him. True, mate, true. James says, cheers, Cam. Thanks, mate. Philip says, good one, Cam. Cheers, Philip. Really appreciate that. Joey says, good night. Thank you very much. Adam says, see you soon on the Mighty Blues. Cheers, mate. We'll be back, of course, with the instant match reaction and the player ratings directly after tomorrow's game. So don't forget to join us straight away after those. The instant match reaction will be up instantly, as in the name, and the player ratings will be up just after as well. And then, of course, we'll be back with a live game review on Thursday, 5:15. For this game. Wayne says, one day you're putting up with it, the next day you're questioning what the hell Sigurdsson is doing and how it helps your team. What? Ocean Star says, join top, we certainly are. Carl says, enjoyed it, Cam, enjoy your evening. Thank you very much, mate. You too. I hope everybody enjoys their evening and the rest of their night. Wayne says, take care, guys. Thank you very much. Hernandez says, feel for Kean. Think agent sold him, Lukaku team, and also a different coach brought him in. Fair enough. Big Nos says, well done again, Cam. Great show again. Really do appreciate that, mate. Philip says, up the toffees. Wayne says, hit the like, guys. Goodison's Box says, welcome to all the new fans from America. Spot on. Welcome to everybody, whether you're from Colombia, America, County Road, Ormskirk, big up Adam. Wherever you're from in the world, thank you very much for watching the channel. It really does mean a massive amount to all of us. Slim says, love the channel, lad. Hammers has been awesome, and he's got the others lifted around. And Villa fan here, by the way. Spot on, Slim. Spot on. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. As it's going to be strange not having so many live streams after this week. Yeah, well, again, there won't be as many previews and reviews, obviously, but we're still going to try and keep up the content. We're going to try and delve into some other videos and some other topics that we haven't necessarily had time. I still want to talk about the FIFA ratings, because I know it means absolutely fuck all to anything, and I know probably most people that watch this video aren't even going to buy FIFA, but it just infuriates me. So there'll still be a lot of content. The content will still be coming. It won't be less. It'll be around about the same, if not more. Wayne says, we have a good team now. Kean will get his chances. I agree. And Kean says, up the fucking toffees. Big up Keenan. Big up Kean. And I'll see you tomorrow. Big thanks for watching. Really do appreciate that. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. Massive thanks to everybody in the live comments. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.